The Employee Free Choice Act would be the first major improvement of national labor law since 1935, when Congress passed the National Labor Relations Act to provide most private sector workers with the right to a union. In recent decades, that right has eroded as employers have routinely violated the law by illegally firing or disciplining workers who try to organize.
All it will do is change the National Labor Relations Act to make it more difficult for employers to retaliate against and intimidate their workers when they try to form unions and bargain collectively. It will put real penalties on employers who violate the law, and currently there aren't any. It will allow workers to seek arbitration when they can't get to a first contract with their employer. And 3, it will allow workers to form unions and join unions simply by signing a card. And when 50% plus 1 sign a card, the union is established. In the history of the National Labor Relations Act, which is now 71 years old, there have been 42 proven cases of union intimidation. In 2005, 31,000 workers in America were fired for legally protected union activity. There is no problem of intimidation on the union side. There is a rampant problem of intimidation on the employer side. It's a red herring. They're making up a problem to obscure the real problem that exists in the workplace in America today.
We've seen the use of food shelves go up. We've seen the number of people visiting Catholic charities go up. So this is a problem for the religious community. We believe very firmly that people ought to have the freedom to choose, and that they really ought to be co-creators in their workplaces, co-creators who are able to have a dialogue with their employer about what their wages and working conditions ought to be, because that is the true meaning of human dignity.
That's right.
And so we're going to go out and talk in the religious community about this issue. We're going to go out and share the stories of workers who have not been able to organize, and we're going to get religious leaders in this community and people in the pews and people in the synagogues and people in the mosques to sign on the dotted line and say yes, that they expect their elected leaders to pass the Employee Free Choice Act.
While our productivity as American workers has gone up by 75% since 1973, our wages have fallen. 20% more people in poverty now than at the end of the last century. Going on 50 million workers in America without health care, another 40 million with inadequate health care. More and more families trying to piece together a middle-class living with more and more incomes. More daddies working a second job, more mamas working a second job, more sons and daughters trying to find a way to bring income.
Workers who have been involved in recent organizing campaigns say legislation to give more people a voice on the job is long overdue.
The way the supervisor, they never used to recognize intermediate people. They threaten you, like, if you don't do whatever they want, they might fire you. But like sometimes they used, a long time ago, they used to force people to work overtime. When they force you, you tell them, some people have kids, they say you are kids. They don't want to listen about that. They just tell you, you have to work. That's, we thought we didn't have, we can do nothing, so that's why we decided to organize.
2 new owners came in, Sunstone Hotels, sold the building to them, and they didn't want to deal with a union contract, so they laid off 19 of us 4 days before Christmas.
It gets depressing, when somebody could just take your job away, and some news person that's not even from the area just comes in and takes your job away. How are you supposed to feel about that?
How hard has it been?
It's been hard for me. I'm trying to take care of myself. I'm single, and I was just living day to day. Paycheck to paycheck, and he comes in and takes our job away just before Christmas, also. And so, it was, I was actually mad more than hurt. So.
And nothing happened to him. He just gets to do this.
Yeah, nothing happened to him. He thought that we would just pick a little bit and go away.
If you can fire somebody when they should not, and there's in effect no penalty, and you have the strong possibility if you don't want to have a union whatsoever, it's an easy gamble. In fact, we were getting rid of a potential problem with someone organizing your other workers, and the downside is close to zero. It's a minuscule amount of money. They're going to pay the attorney, an hour, more than what they'd have to pay the employee.
They're hiring really cheap labor. They're giving the workers now a whole lot less pay than what we received, and they get no sick pay, vacation pay, no benefits whatsoever.
If the proposed law were to exist so that people could simply sign and do it freely without the fear of, recrimination because of it, then I'm sure many more people would want to simply sign. Because right now they're just totally afraid of the situation. It's an unfortunate fact of life. People working in security are on the very border of, living in the cars, or maybe not even having a car to live in, literally sleeping out on a bridge or under a bridge. And they're that tight economically. And you put on the fact that, like Hannon has insurance, but it's in effect zero insurance, that it's losing the job for even a couple, 3 days could be totally devastating for these people. So then you take those facts and add it on to just the general attitude of management. No, we don't want to have anything to do with these people. They're afraid.
They feel like they can, do whatever they feel like doing, so they can stop us, for having a union. And mostly what they have been doing, they have been, those people who were so active on the union, they have been picking on them, if you, try to see if they watch them so close. If you try to do something, they might fire you. So most of employees, they are so afraid, even, saying the word the union at the job, you can't say anything because they are so scared.
If you lost your job 4 days before Christmas, not really any notice, no benefits, no pay, nothing, just down to zero, how would you feel about that?
How will Senator Coleman vote? Union members asked him that question when he arrived for a forum at the University of Minnesota.
Which is for the Employee Free Choice Act.
About this fact. Okay. If there are employer violations of organizing, I'd be very aggressive against them. My concern about this is I believe that employees should have the right to a secret ballot. And this act takes away the right to a secret ballot. So that's my concern. It is the taking away the secret ballot provision that I think
it doesn't.
Sir, that's not. Yes, it does. Employees, it does. You do not have the right, if you want to decide whether to be organized, you do not have a right to a secret ballot anymore.
No, sir. What it does is it takes it away from the employer to decide whether there's a secret ballot. If the employees wish to have it, they can still have it.
The law now simply allows employees to have a secret ballot. If you go through this, then employees will not have that option, or they will lose that. And I just think that's wrong.
That's a management smokescreen, the way I look at it. Simply because if the people are willing to sign the card, they really have an interest in doing it. One of the reasons that the elections don't work at this point is because the management people can hire all the consultants and have all the private meetings and say all the negative stories, all the half-truths, and so on and so forth. They don't have to ever tell the other side. And the union at that point is locked out, literally and figuratively, that they can't go in and give their story. So once they would petition for an election, the chances of winning an election the way the environment is today, meaning the business environment, it's very, very difficult to win an election. And under the circumstances, the only way that you can get back to workers' rights, in my opinion, is to allow the card checkoff.
Workers will still be able to have an election if that's what they want. 40% sign a card, say they want an election, they can petition the government for an election, and an election will be held under the Employee Free Choice Act. Or workers can decide to sign cards indicating their union preference. Under the Employee Free Choice Act, both of those are legal now. Now it's up to the employer to decide which one he or she will accept. Under the Employee Free Choice Act, the workers will decide how to indicate their union preferences. So that's one. It will not take away any right to an election. Workers will still be able to have an election if that's what they choose.